Okay, cool. Right, this is going to be a great conversation. I'm looking forward to this one, and I'm so happy we've got Xander as well as Jemima here. Have you met? Well, you met Jemima, obviously. Have you met Xander? Right. Okay, cool. Right, this is going to be great then. Okay, let me just get this one up. Okay, brilliant. Coming on in. Hey!
Hello!
How we doing?
Not bad, not bad. How you guys feeling?
Awesome. Well, I'm awesome, sad, angry, ecstatic, all of the above in one like bubble of weirdness. Well, it's all awful, but it's all great, and it's a perspective. Today I feel like we're doing the right thing. I wasn't sure about whether we were going to do something this year, or if it was going to be as big as we've done it this year, or whatever. I'm happy with it's going on. So I appreciate you both being here with us. I don't know if you caught the conversation with Jamie Queen this morning. It was very early, about 6:30.
Sadly not. No, I've been super occupied with all the other things in life today, so I'll be watching it.
No, it's fine. I would really recommend it, regardless of the conversation we're about to have, that you have a look and listen to Jamie Queen, who came on this morning to talk about ADHD and his relationship with ADHD and dyslexia, and how he's turned it into a superpower. You guys should be connecting. Anyway,
fantastic.
Enough about that. Let's have a conversation. Would you be so kind, for those who don't know who you are, both of you, at an individual level, so each of you, but also together.
Sure.
I'll let you decide who's good. I imagine Jemima's got the pitch down for the collective, but I want to hear from you who you are at a human level as well, Jemima.
No worries. No, so obviously you've had many practice of this, and it's always evolving. So we are the co-founders of the Wilcox Collective. We are adventurers on a quest to deliver the best in visual content for businesses that want to push boundaries and achieve their goals.
She just loves it every time. Bang, bang, bang. Learn the pitch. Honestly, one of the biggest lessons you can say, young people, learn the pitch.
So that's us business-wise. 6 years going on in business. So me and Alex connected when we were right at the beginning, so we're on a big journey together, which has been always really awesome. At a human level, I am many things. I am a neurodivergent creative that has a lot of different diversity aspects of me, that I also champion female founders, women in business, champion diverse minorities and underrepresented people. And my personal goal in life is to focus my attention now on neurodivergent entrepreneurs and that kind of side, to really champion neurodivergence and entrepreneurship is a hand-in-hand thing. That's
Amazing. Love that. And Xander.
Yeah, so hi, I'm Xander. So I'm very much sort of the background support for the Wilcox Collective. But we've also got we've splintered off a side brand on that called XW3D, where we run our 3D printing. So we do print on demand. So we're moving into more gift and craft fairs, as well as the bespoke on demand services, such as the key rings. So,
also awesome things such as.
Whoa, that's okay. Yeah, all right. Don't, showing off, man. I got a key ring. I want one of them now.
I'm newly entered into the world of neurodivergence. I had a diagnosis of ADHD about 6 months ago. So.
Right.
Yeah. So it's a fascinating thing in the sense that I have been living as a neurodivergent individual for over 10 years, and in the last 12 months, Xander has been starting his journey, and it's how that real interest of this is part of my identity, and how you mentioned your other featured person this morning, how they think it's a superpower. I think it's a superpower, but Xander's still actually thinking about, how did it get there? And I think what we interesting
I'm still finding out
is to understand, Xander's story of being an adult and having neurodivergent and how that kind of came around.
So where are you in that journey then? Where are you? Because obviously, so firstly, something I asked Jamie this morning I thought was interesting. What did it mean to you when you found out? And where are you now in processing that, and what does that mean to you now?
I mean, in terms of finding out, it's hard to pin down what it meant at the time, because I mean, in a lot of ways, it was a cataclysmic event, because we were in the midst of the pandemic when we basically started realizing, and so it stripped a lot away. There was effectively like an identity crisis involved, and a lot of realizations. Because I mean, I had occasionally toyed with the idea, like you hear about ADHD and you're like, oh, okay, you know, some of those things relate, but I'd never really given it thought. But we're now at a point where we've started, you know, with my doctor who has given me my diagnosis, we've started looking into the signs that have been there the whole time. So in a lot of ways, the identity issues are, I wouldn't go as far as to say an identity crisis, but there's still identity questions at this point.
Where does Xander start and the ADHD begin, and how much of that is ADHD versus is a Xander thing? So yeah, we're both like muddling through and trying to identify it.
I'm sorry, I can't actually hear you, Luke.
Luke, your mic is not coming through for us. Alex is going to fix it.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
There you go.
There we go.
You hear me now?
Yeah.
Brilliant. That means that nobody heard me in the whole of the last interview. Brilliant. Just a very quick question. When you first went to GP for that ADHD assessment, how long did it take from your initial assessment at the GP to the diagnosis?
So I went through, because we used the Right to Choose service through the NHS. So we went with Psychiatry UK, and that took about. So I've been referred to them currently. So I'm not currently with my regular GP. Mm-hmm. That took about 7 or 8 months.
Yeah, I mean, something we really need to emphasize that people may not know when you're going through kind of a neurodiversity diagnosis is you have the right to choose who is going to support you. And different places have different methods and different ways of doing it. We assumed that the local Cambridgeshire ADHD clinic would support us.
There's an
ADHD pathway,
Yeah, but no, there was, I don't know why.
Well, they would have been absolutely willing, but they had to shut down over the pandemic, which means their waiting list is now colossal. Whereas some of the online services have been able to keep pushing things through.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of the drive of that.
I say in Bedfordshire is 18-month wait.
That period. I want to stress to everybody that's watching is that we seem to find, we self-selected Psychiatry UK, who for some reason or other managed to then get resources such as people and technology that then shrunk their waiting list so small that we
were very lucky that they actually were able to gain additional funding partway through to expand their resource. So we got quite lucky to have it. But then, I mean, I got my diagnosis about 7 or 8 months in, but it then takes another period of like, I think it was
12 weeks.
Yeah, 3 or 4 months before you can actually start getting any support or treatment. So it's you find out a lot after that.
There's time to think amongst that, right? There's time to think.
Yeah,
it's time to start googling things and watching YouTube videos
or ChatGPT.
But then again, another question, because I'm seeing quite a lot in my day-to-day work of adults getting ADHD diagnosis. How does it feel now for you having that diagnosis and not being in childhood? Are you a little bit frustrated from that, or are you okay with that? You know, do you wish that you could been diagnosed at an earlier stage?
All of that.
Good answer.
Honestly, I mean,
the melting pot of
it's complex. There is a lot of frustration because the signs were there when I was a teenager, and in hindsight, they are very identifiable if you know what you're looking for. But the trouble is, at the time, I don't know how widespread the knowledge was, but at the time, my understanding was that I had a hearing issue because I couldn't process what people were saying. Others just thought I was lazy, or he's so gifted at school, he's just not applying himself.
You're not applying yourself. Oh yeah, classic. Yeah, I'm with you, man.
And
I think you get dismissed.
I think this is really powerful, and I genuinely, because I think this is what people need to know, because ADHD in adults is getting more and more popular is the wrong word, and it's been a few hours. I don't want to use the word popular. You know what I mean? It's becoming more common now for adults to get ADHD.
Awareness is done, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's really important that people realise this. And so your story is really important to talk.
I'm intrigued. So Jemima, help me out here, right? So I am not diagnosed, right? I've not been diagnosed. I had this conversation with Jamie this morning. I'm like, yeah, probably. I'm like, yeah, all right, probably makes sense, right? Like, whatever it is I have, and I am, and I feel massively enabled by it. Sometimes I feel massively frustrated by it. Some days, you know what I mean?
Alex,
But Jemima, you feel the same, right?
Well, there's a traits in your personality, like the hyperfocus. So I can get obsessed with something and spend 2 days. I know you can. I know you'll have an idea.
I'm the king of hyperfocus. Yeah, I'm there.
But as I was saying, like we've been discussing this,
Embrace it, man.
there is positives and
There's
negatives.
downsides too, by the way.
Hyperfocus is a great example. I think it's a term a lot of people are familiar with. But there's a lot of misconceptions around what it is, because there's two types of hyperfocus. Because I think everyone is coming around to the idea of getting into a flow state, which is a great example of hyperfocus, but it's a very positive.
That's something in business, as we all know, getting into that flow, that mental, like, oh, I can do this, I can do that, and you've achieved so much, is addictive. So I can see,
But I do the same with Football Manager for 50 hours to the detriment of my health.
Well, that when you get locked into it, at that point you're talking about perseveration.
Yeah,
that's the ADHD, but and that's locking you in.
That's why I can't touch it, man. It's like kryptonite. It's my kryptonite.
You have to start learning triggers and some things you'll get locked into. So
I think something that we need to talk about and be really clear is that, as Luke mentioned, ADHD is becoming more of a known thing because people like us are talking about it. There is more diagnosis is happening, but we need to be really understanding and clear and help educate everybody what is ADHD and what isn't ADHD.
Absolutely.
So define it from your perspective.
Okay, so it's a number of pieces. I'm still figuring out some of them.
Exactly. That's fine. That's cool. Because the journey, man. Where's your frame of reference?
What it isn't is laziness, which it often gets called. But there's certain thinking patterns you get stuck in. There's certain elements. I mean, it's described as attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. There's an argument to be made that attention deficit is very misleading, because it's not that we can't pay attention to things. It's that we pay attention to everything and we can't not do that. So it's a surplus of attention. It's not a deficit.
Yeah, it's almost the opposite.
Yeah. And like hyperactivity, I am currently very hyperactive right now. But you probably can't tell because it's not physical. My brain is going a million miles an hour, and it's so many different pieces. I get stuck on topics. I go around in circles. I get locked into things. I'm very good at procrastinating. There's a lot of avoidance of certain things. There's organizational issues. The biggest thing that lays down what some of it is the concept. One thing I've learned recently is why I can't plan for the future very well, because there's a large amount of time blindness. So you've got there is now and there is not now, and those are the only two times. So Like that's it. That's as far as that goes.
So I have to say that has caused us some challenges in our relationship. Obviously, wanting to plan for the future and think about having a family or buying a house, or we're going to share this online with everybody because it's a big, hairy, audacious goal that within about just under 4 years, our business will be 10 years old. And
Amazing.
Absolutely amazing.
Just celebrated.
That'd be a big party.
Yeah, it'll be a big party. But also we will turn 40.
Wow.
There's some milestones going on.
Also, big party.
Yes. So what we've agreed on, and this is something I've talked about a lot, is that this time of year I hate being without vitamin D, without warmth, in a climate that's bleh, and it's all very depressing. I've always talked to say that this type of year, from between November and April, we're going to disappear off, and we're going to go live in Australia for 6 months.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
And that is the goal. So that's a really interesting thing that we've discussed. And in the past, this would have freaked you out like crazy, and you couldn't deal with it because the concept is it's now or not now, and it's not now.
That's not now, so I don't have to do anything now.
Yeah. So the goal of the business is to have us step back and it run by itself, and collective members are doing all the great work. We've got our team running for us. We just need to be hands off, but we want to spend that time having slight early retirement. But if that works well, then we want to repeat that maybe every 5 years and disappear off.
I love that.
So that kind of planning is an interesting one. And I think
that's awesome. That's congratulations.
Yeah.
Can I also ask then, is with your diagnosis now, how are you treating that in your business? Because I've seen your business firsthand. I'm not just saying this because you two are sitting in front of me. You've got an amazing business there, and I know you've worked so hard at it.
So many product lines now.
This is what I mean. You work so hard, and it's so no. But this is what I'm saying by that is I've seen it. It's absolutely an amazing business. So with your diagnosis now, how has that affected your business, or has it?
So I think the best thing to talk about is what route you chose. Just to make you aware, with NHS diagnosis of ADHD, you have choice of medication or therapy.
Yeah.
You can't have both.
No.
Well, you can, but you've got to pay for one.
Yeah, so it's a bit difficult. So Xander opted to medicate. So I think that's probably something we could talk about.
Yeah, because I mean,
Yeah.
the medication has been it's complex because I already have there's certain things about ADHD that tie into entrepreneurship. You're actually looking at the stats, you're more likely to become an entrepreneur if you have ADHD. It doesn't necessarily go the other way. Not all entrepreneurs have it, but
I really hope that was going to be the answer.
Yeah,
I knew it was going to be the answer.
Brilliant, man. It works. The skill set matches the output.
Yeah.
But so because we don't fit into the office life very well, because I mean it's and sometimes that gets brought into contrast. So I've been able to shift a lot of my focus now onto the business because I am still in employment as well. Which it's easier now to start diverting my focus because I can see the things that it's not that I'm bad at things, it's that the general working environment isn't set up to accommodate every type of neurodiversity. And I don't know if they ever can. So it's actually acted, for me personally, it's acted more as a springboard into being more active on this side of the business as opposed to just treating this as an additional thing that I do in addition to my job, because now I'm putting a lot more focus into the company now because it's been quite liberating because it's allowed me to. And then the medication has actually let me achieve the things that I want to achieve as part of that.
Share with you. So this is the absolutely wonderful pill box that was 3D printed.
Oh, look at that. Right, just for that reason, I'm going to put that in pink. There you go.
So Xander has the medication, and that's been a journey for us because Xander's never had any kind of medication. And also, I'm not sure you might share with this, is that he's running around the house going, I'm on drugs. I'm like, please don't say that. And it also is amazing that ADHD medication is actually methamphetamine. So he's on proper drugs.
Well, there's a noticeable stigma around that. Because people, if you say I'm on medication, people go, oh, okay. And if you say they're stimulant medication, they start going, oh, okay, that's fine. But then they'll ask, what are you taking? And then you say amphetamines, and then there's always a ooh, and there's a lot of stigma around that. So
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, I've been taking antidepressant medication for gone on 20 years. So drugs to me are drugs. These are things that help me. So the fact that
it's an individual thing, isn't it? It's a personal decision.
Yeah, I've been on sertraline antidepressant for 8 years, and I don't feel ready to come off them still after 8 years. I'm not bothered not to come off them. I just know that drug helps me.
Yeah,
that's what matters. And that's a great message.
Yeah, sertraline 15 years.
By the way, you got Kursop wants to connect. He's he's just starting the journey.
That would be
maybe Xander and Michael can connect in the comments or something on Facebook. Yeah. That'd be really good.
You know your question you said, what you can tell yourself this time next year.
Yeah.
They're going to say, "G'day, sport."
G'day, sport.
That's 4 years.
I had
4 years.
4 years, mate. Yeah, it's 4 years.
4 years.
Well, you've got to go check out the properties, and that goes on the business expenses.
Yeah.
I try to avoid all medications. That's just my thing. Although I have had a look a lot into these. So I used to work in pharmaceuticals for a long time, so I had a lot of exposure to this world, and my issue is, I suppose my concern around it, just being open, is I don't want it to work, if that makes sense, because I don't want to be. I just don't want it. I don't want to rely on anything or anyone. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just. For me as an entrepreneur, this is the beauty, Xander. I think this is where, going fast forward a bit, take some comfort in the life of an entrepreneurship and in the way I see entrepreneurship as a discipline, a way of life. It's a different world. I can sleep when I want. I can focus when I want. I can do what I want, and my body will tell me if I have 4 days where I do nothing, or in terms of no productivity, then that's fine. But then I'll have 1 day of just like bang, 18 hours. You're going down everything in my way, So and I think there's some comfort in that, and I don't think there's for anyone to say yes this or no that. It's a personal decision. And that's why there's a lot of support around those conversations. So I appreciate you both coming on to have this conversation. You've raised a lot of awareness.
It's really important conversation.
Yeah, it's great. So I will ask those two questions. I'll ask the question to both of you. Yeah. Again, this is individuals. I asked every guest so far. And by the way, you need to get over and sign this T-shirt at some point. We've got all the guests are signing this T. Which is going to go up on the wall for future years of the legacy of Speak Up. What will you say to yourself a year from now?
I would say that your patience has paid off. Keep going.
Oh, nice. What about you, Xander?
I'm on drugs.
I'm still on drugs. In a year's time,
year today,
I would say I look forward to meeting myself.
Oh, that's nice.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm still finding out. So
that's intriguing. I love that. Well, I appreciate you both.
What a conversation! Thank you so much.
Please do check in with the. It would have been on stream 1, 6:30. Jamie Queen, and then reach out to him on LinkedIn. So I think you guys can get on. He. When you listen, Xander, when you listen to Jamie, and what he has achieved, and how he talks about his ADHD and his dyslexia, is different level of clarity, self-awareness, and superpower. Never have I been so inspired by someone so proud of that superpower. And I think you would take a lot of inspiration from it.
Absolutely.
That'd be awesome. Something we're going to be doing this year as part of our annual personal projects is we're looking to speak to and interview neurodiverse entrepreneurs. So if you are neurodiverse and you are an entrepreneur, come have a chat with us, and we will document your story to.
I
then
will
share
keep that up.
our-
And I'll
Yeah.
keep that in mind when I work in my normal job as well. So, yeah.
Yes,
Legends.
Awesome.
Bless you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks very much.
See you later. Awesome.